Hello, hello, it's probably Sharon. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you a technique on how you can make your fabric look old and aged and antique or just distressed. It's really fun and easy. So we're going to take fabric that looks clean and pristine like this, and we're going to turn it into this. It's pretty simple and fun. You'll lose yourself for hours, possibly. It's just a blast. And then you can use it for, of course, journal covers. So here's one that I put on a journal. Notice how it looks distressed and aged, and we can pretend that this goes on the front of the journal so you can kind of see what it looks like. But yeah, stick with me and we'll get going. Okay, so I'm starting out with just a plain white piece of cotton and some permanent archival ink. Permanent is important for this part. And I'm just getting some stamps and doing some random stamping on the cotton fabric. I'm trying to use a few different colors. So I'm using black, sepia, and coffee, I believe. And I'll try to put links for those below. Sorry, I had to do a voiceover on this first part of the video because it didn't work. So yeah, once you have all of this stamped, and this is optional, just if you want to, then we'll go to the next step. Okay, so I'm just getting this pan, little, buffet pan, whatever. I use this all the time when I'm dyeing different things. I have a larger one that I use when I'm dyeing paper. So I'm getting this piece of cotton, and the ink is dry. The permanent ink that I stamped with is dry. And then I'm going to just kind of get it a little bit damp. If my sprayer will work. Okay, oh, maybe a little more here. Okay, just make sure this is just a little bit damp, nothing crazy. And you can see with the permanent ink, it's not fading, or sorry, not fading. It's not running. You can see how the colors aren't moving. They're staying where they are. That's because we used permanent ink to put the stamps on. So that's why that is important. Okay, so we've got it a little bit damp. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I have some coffee. So this is like triple strength of what the directions say. This is instant coffee. And I'm just going to kind of spray a little bit of this on too. Now, if you don't want to do the coffee, that's fine. You can skip this part. I just thought it would help to kind of cover up some of the white. Because I'm hoping you'll have minimal white when we're done. There might be a little bit, but for the most part, I think we should have it covered. So. Okay. Now the next thing I'm going to do, I'm mostly going to be using oxides, but I think to start off with I am going to use the Vintage Photo Stain. So again, I'm just going to put a little, it's just kind of fun to play around with the different colors. I love the way that the Vintage Photo looks. So I think it's one of my favorites as far as the stain and the oxide. I don't know, I just love it. I think it's a lot of people's favorite. Okay, so now I'm going to kind of randomly put a little bit of that on. And then comes the fun part. So now I am going to get, where did I put it? Is this it? Yeah. Vintage Photo Oxide Refiller. So this is really concentrated. So, and let me tell you a little story. I got this months ago, and I probably used it to dye about 60 or 70 sheets of paper. I mean, not the whole paper, but if you saw my other videos on using the matte photo paper and the oxides, that's what I'm talking about. So I've dyed 60 or 70 sheets of paper, and I've done probably a dozen covers. And I thought, well, I need to order more. So I ordered more because I figured I was low. I was just checking. Oh, you can't see it on camera, but it was only down to there. I've only used a third of it, and I've dyed that many things with it. So it really, I mean, when you first look at it, you think, oh, that's kind of expensive, but really, it lasts a long time. So I think it's very well worth it. And I'll put a link for this below. All right, so you can just drip it randomly. I should have put gloves on. Again, I didn't paint my nails because I knew I'd just wreck them doing this. So my poor nails are very due for some love. Okay, so we have some vintage photo. And then I thought, let's try brushed corduroy. And this is also the oxide refiller. Put a little bit of this. And you know, if you have the oxide spray or whatever, that will work too. This refiller is obviously very concentrated, so you get a different result than you would with the spray. Okay. All right, so now we're getting to the last step here. Get your spray bottle again and just start spraying it. And the oxide reacts with water, so you'll see it kind of starts to change colors. And it depends on how soaked. So if you get it super soaked, the colors are all just kind of meshed together. If you just get it a little bit wet, or maybe you want some blotchiness, then just don't put as much water. So, and this is going to probably be a mix of both splotchy and merged. Just kind of, you can hear the water squishing in there. It's just slightly saturated. Okay, let's take a look. See, then doesn't that look like some old fabric that's just been lying around for years? Oh, I love that. So one thing, I mean, if you're not doing this for a junk journal, if you're doing it on clothes or something, just keep in mind the oxide inks and the distress stain is water reactive. So if you try to wash it, most of the color is probably going to come out. So you want to do this on something you know you are not going to be washing for it to keep the color. Okay, so I'm going to put this aside to dry. I have a little scrap, another scrap of this white. I was going to use this for maybe, you know, color it and then use little scraps of it for my clusters and stuff like that. But I'm just going to, because there's a little bit of stain and oxide left in this pan, so I'm just going to kind of soak it up a little bit. And then I thought it would be fun to do maybe some blue. Let's do some blue spray stain. This color is Stormy Sky. It sounds like I'm spraying more than I am. This sprayer is just not spraying very well. So it sounds like I'm spraying a whole lot, but I'm really not. Okay, I'm just going to kind of squish that too. I just kind of wanted some fabric that had a little bit of blue and a little bit of grunge, so I could use it in clusters. So everything's not brown and yellow. Oh, that looks good, but there's still Yeah, I'm going to leave it the way it is. I'm going to put this aside to dry. Okay, I have one last piece. Let's do this one too. So this one, I mean, a little backstory. I used to make a lot of rag quilts, and I bought this for making the quilts, and I overbought. I didn't measure or calculate good enough, and I ended up with a whole bunch of this specific fabric. But I mean, it's cool. That would look beautiful on a journal, just the way it is. But I want to dirty it up a little bit. So again, we're just going to follow the same steps as I did before. Let's just see what it looks like when you use a patterned fabric. Okay, I'm going to spray a little bit of coffee, and again, you don't have to do this step if you don't like to use coffee, you don't like the smell or whatever. I just thought it would help kind of hide some of that white, and it's a lot cheaper than the ink, so there's that. Okay, I'm going to do the Vintage Photo Spray Stain. Vintage Photo Oxide Refiller. And this time I'm just kind of making lines in it. I'll do some splotches too. Yeah, you just don't need very much. And then brush corduroy oxide refiller. And this stuff settles to the bottom pretty quickly, so that's why I keep shaking it up, because you want to make sure you got it nice and mixed. All right. I'm going to put a little bit more water on there. Maybe not as much as I did on the last one. Okay. And then I don't think I'm going to squish it up as much. Maybe just a little bit. Maybe we'll end up with some, you know, more definite blotches rather than so much mixed. See, look at that. I mean, when it dries, it'll be a little bit lighter, but look how cool that looks. I mean, the Vintage Photo obviously looks like rust. So it looks like, you know, you have rusted, something rusty was sitting on the fabric or something. And then the brushed corduroy is the one that's kind of going that grayish green color. So that looks really cool. I mean, there's a couple spots that are kind of white. Let's try to fix that a little. I don't want it to be stark white. I want it to hide a little bit. I really like that. Okay, I'm going to set that aside and get a paper towel. Kind of wipe off my hands a little bit because I want to show you what it looks like when it is dry. So obviously the one that we did first, the white one, that one's still drying, but you got to see it, you know, what it looked like. So here's one. It's the same fabric that we just did. And this is what it looks like when it's dry. And there's the other side. So sometimes it's fun to even use the wrong side to cover your journal, or to use in your clusters or fabric ruffles on your pages or whatever it is. Sometimes the wrong side is, you know, the one you like the best. So it's kind of cool. And then I have another one, another fabric that I did. Kind of a greenish color. So that one turned out really cool too. And then I also, just so you have a better visual, I went ahead and covered a journal. This is just the cover, so there's no pages in it yet or anything, but I just kind of wanted to show you what it looks like, you know, on a journal. So that's kind of this. I used the wrong side, wrong side up on this one because I thought it just looked awesome. And then let me kind of, let's put something on the front so you can kind of see what it would look like if it was like a finished cover. So say, I mean, this is like a notebook tag, but I mean, something like that. Then you can see kind of the rusty looks around the edges, you know, on the spine, on the back. Looks really cool. Here's another, oops, another little tag thing. Just so you have a visual of what it can look like when it's finished. I'm really excited about the one that we did, the white one with the stamping on it. I'm really excited to see what that looks like when it's dry. But anyway, I hope you got some use out of this video. The oxides are so fun to play with. I gotta say I'm kind of addicted to them. Between using the matte photo paper and the oxides and the fabric and the oxides, it's just, oh, I could lose myself hours of just playing with this stuff. But I hope you enjoyed this video. And yeah, I'll talk to you soon. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.